Anyway, turns out he likes stuff in his butt. Ask Reddit on Reddit Rundown. People who perform sexual favors in school or in the workplace to get ahead. What was it for? And what are things like now? I worked in a warehouse 10 years ago. I had the most physical job there, constantly slagging around 130-pound product by hand, so I was reasonably jacked after about 4 months there. My job was automated at every other warehouse we owned, but the office manager seemed to like looking at me, and I beat the robots in efficiency and accuracy, so she kept me around. She asked for my help moving some heavy stuff one day in her office at the end of the day, and I didn't think anything of it. Shoulder was really sore that day, and she noticed me favoring it, so when I was done, she told me she used to work as a massage therapist, and offered to help my shoulder. Literally thought nothing of it until 3 minutes into the massage, her hands were no longer on my shoulder, instead, on my junk. She was reasonably attractive, and everyone else had left for the day, so I took advantage of the situation and banged her brains out. 3 days later, I got a $3 an hour raise. The company was 4 months into a pay freeze. Her justification: I was beating the robots. We banged a few times a week, and I got an extra few days off a month, paid, because she was concerned about my shoulder. Used to blow my boss every Thursday. We banged once. It was just a part-time retail gig and I got a bigger raise than my more deserving coworkers around the time it started. I actually felt pretty bad about that. I wasn't a lousy employee by any means, but my one coworker seriously busted her ass and got a smaller raise. But he always let me go home early if we weren't super busy. That was nice. In the late 90s, I got hired to be a phone agent for a distribution and import company. The job was to take incoming orders. It paid $22,000 a year. Within the first week I began sucking the owner's cock on the regular. He was married. I was a young gay male. I was there less than a month before the marketing director announced her pregnancy and intent to quit when the baby came to be a stay-at-home mom. The owner promoted me to her assistant to learn the job, gave me a raise to $35,000, and when the marketing director left 7 months later, I got her job and a raise to $58,000. I continued to blow my boss once or twice a week for 5 years, and by the time I resigned, I was earning $70,000. What are things like now? Now I'm married to a dude. I went back to college to earn my PhD and I spend all day reading, writing, and getting high. My former boss at a tech company asked me to go away with her for the weekend. I declined. My buddy, being the opportunist, started banging her. I received a 2% annual raise and my buddy got a 20% raise. In hindsight, I should have banged her. When I was in college, I worked in a little family-owned restaurant. The owner's wife was the manager and well, she came on to me and we started banging regularly. It was great because I got to call out whenever I wanted, leave early whenever I wanted, got all the good tables, good shifts, free food, unlimited smoke breaks, etc. But all my coworkers hated me. And since she was married, I know I'm a piece of crap. I was young and stupid and she was attractive. I knew we weren't going to be together, so when I met someone my own age at school and started dating her, she got really crazy and I ended up getting fired for, I can't even remember what now. I was fired for some stupid reason, but it was really because she couldn't bear to see me anymore if I didn't want her. She would text and call me for months afterwards and even showed up at my apartment a few times and also lied saying I got her pregnant. She wasn't. She showed up at my new job and started a huge scene and almost got me fired my first week. So overall, 2 out of 5 stars, wouldn't recommend. I was in first year pre-med and doing fairly well. I had a bio professor that I found extremely attractive even though she was 55 to my 22. On St. Patrick's Day we were in the lab doing some cell culturing, and as anyone who has done this knows, there are some substantial wait times involved. This was a 5-hour lab. We started a cell culture and finished up with our notes but didn't have to be back in the lab for about 2.5 hours to do the rest of the lab, so my lab partner and I decided to go to the campus bar. Well, I drank 2 pitchers of green beer and headed back to the lab. I walked in a little tipsy. I'm 6 feet 5 inches and 240 pounds, and I see the professor reading a book over her lab table. I walked up to her and started flirting. My lab partner tried to pull me away, I guess worried she would be upset we were drinking or something. She starts flirting back, so I ask her if after the lab she wants to come back to the campus bar with us and have some drinks. She says she can't be seen in the campus bar with us but offers to take me to some other bar nearby. We went to the bar and she bought us a few drinks and then we cabbed back to her place. Had sex. Woke up the next morning to people eating breakfast. Her family decided to come over to visit, I guess. Went into the dining room and sat down. People were extremely confused about who the hell I was until she walked into the room and kissed me. Everyone looked really awkward, but what do I care? This continued on for a while and I received an A+ in the course. Went back looking at my work and should have received a B+/A. So, I'm one of about 4 girls working in a mostly male workplace. This isn't my story, but I'm roommates with the girl who went through/ is currently going through this. B started about 2 years ago, and right off the bat, everyone knew something was up. Barely legal, no experience in our workplace, but got one of the better jobs here. And she stayed there. Our raises are based mainly on how well you can do your job, and how many different positions you can work on our line, but somehow even though she could only do one job, and wasn't particularly good at it, she kept getting raises out the ass. No one else could prove anything, but we all kind of figured she was banging our supervisor, who was married and twice her age. Neither of them admitted to it, but the raises kept coming, her performance stayed pretty crap, and she basically got away with murder as far as attendance/accountability went. Everyone else treated her like crap and tried to get her to quit. Fast forward to about 8 months ago, when B's relationship with our boss went south. They broke up, and he's been trying to get her fired for about anything and everything he can think of. The catch is that she has documented proof of their relationship, which she's planning on sending to his wife as well as our boss's bosses if he really does manage to get her fired. So now she's basically got an ironclad position where we work, and is making considerably above skill level money-wise. I'd say it worked out fairly well for her. We ran into my boss at a swingers bar, PS they're hit and miss. He tried to duck away but me and my husband are forward. We ran over and said hello to him and his wife, joked a bit fancy seeing you here, etc. Husband gave me the nod, so I got flirty. We went back to his house, husband and his wife in tow, don't worry. Anyway, it wasn't to get ahead intentionally. I think he's cute, he's keeping in shape for 45, which some dudes just say F it all. I had thought about it before, this was my first real gig and the whole sex with boss thing was attractive. Husband already said I could do it whenever if he was up for it. I chickened out a few times before this to try though, didn't know how it would go. Didn't know he was a swinger/open relationship. Anyway, turns out he likes stuff in his butt. Husband isn't about that but his wife strapped up and went behind him while he was behind me. Was fun. We talked over lunch on Monday that it can't happen again, it never happened, and we can never talk about it. Until the holiday party 3 weeks later when we all went back to our place this time. It's been a few years on and off, sometimes we sneak away at lunch, sometimes we get together on the weekend. Hubby and his wife hit it off well too. I genuinely like a porn movie had to hide under his desk one time when someone came in, fortunately it was only a few minutes. I'd like to say it didn't affect any decisions, and I don't take advantage of it at all but I think he definitely has my back more now, no pun intended. Been promoted, given more training opportunities, etc. compared to others. At the same time, I asked for more training, more opportunities, and the promotion was within my timeline but I did get picked over Becca. But Becca's a cunt who ruins everyone's day anyway. I guess I did get special treatment because I did get Becca moved so she wasn't near me anymore. An old manager of mine had a thing about women wearing bright lipstick. He offered to pay me an extra $3 per hour if I just wore bright red lipstick to work each day, which I figured was harmless and cost me nothing. I was a minor at the time, and he never made any sexual comments towards me or made me uncomfortable, but it was strongly implied to be a fetish thing. Apparently, he made the same deal with an older coworker of mine, and also offered $100 for a picture of her feet. Kind of off topic. A colleague of mine was married to a woman in the same company, and used to sneak off during work hours to drink. He was an undercover alcoholic. I was quite junior and would accompany him. He'd buy the drinks, we'd drive around or sit in a park and talk shit drinking. I discovered later that his wife had suspected him of cheating, not knowing he loved liquor so much. Her investigations had led her to believe that her husband was homosexual/bi because their sex life was dead and she was disappearing with me, a 22-year-old. I was at one point accused of being a faggot, figured hey I didn't want to bust the guy for drinking so I just went with it. I believe to this day he reconciled things with his wife and played the activity off as curiosity. Crazy shit. Thanks for listening to Reddit Rundown. Give a thumbs up and subscribe, and help me get to 1,000 subs. Leave a comment below on what kind of topics or stories you would like to hear. You can also check out other videos on my channel. Thanks and have an awesome day.